Hey there. It has been a journey on my way to work this morning. Actually, the past probably 12 hours have been really interesting. So I want to start out by saying I think the bottom line of what I'm sharing is to encourage you to work with your clear senses and developing your clear senses, opening up to your clear senses wherever you're at in your journey right now. Take it to the next level. So and the reason for that is because okay, I'm going to take a step back and do a little disclaimer. When I'm creating these videos, I hear what I'm saying and I hear myself as though I was listening to what I was saying from a different from like my perspective, and asking all these questions of it, like, oh, so what about this, and what about this, and what about that. So as I'm speaking, I'm like moderating my own questions and trying to also answer those questions that are coming up, and it distracts me. So I'm going to practice leaving those questions that my personality is coming up with, and just saying what is coming from the front of me, from the heart, maybe what's wanting to, the information that's wanting to come out. So overall, take the next step in your clear senses, whatever that is for you, because the up leveling it does for your life is profound. It's not always easy, and there's work that you have to do that goes along with it, but it is profound. So that being said, the past month, yeah, it's been about a month, I've been working through a course on opening the Akashic Records, working with the Akashic Records, and this is not the first time I've done this sort of thing with the records, but this is the time where I'm like serious about it now, right? So I've dabbled, I've practiced, this is interesting, I'm curious. Now it's the rubbers hit the road and I'm moving with it, going forward with it. I'm getting serious about it. So every day I've been in the records, and last night I went into the records. I went into the records to just to be in them as I did some other spiritual work. So I'm going through a 12-day challenge with the grid work community that I'm in. It's a 12-day sonic grid work challenge, and it's really fun, and it's really and it's a challenge too, because the things that they're inviting the person doing the challenge to do is kind of like, I don't know, is that, yeah, you know, whatever. So it's a practice getting out of your head and getting into the flow too with it. So anyway, last night I was doing the challenge, and it was to connect with a body of water, send it a blessing, you know, things like that. And so I opened up the records, and I sat in the space and opened up to whatever body of water was wanting to work with me. Initially, I went through the bodies of water in my head that I have worked with, or the ones that are in my area, and none of those felt like the one that was supposed to work with me that night. So then I just opened it up, and the Arctic Ocean is what came in. So I was working with the Arctic Ocean and doing like a light language. I don't want to call it a blessing, because it wasn't me blessing the Arctic Ocean. It was more so me being open to the ocean and the ocean being open to me, and just allowing that flow. Okay, so that infinity loop, just flowing back and forth with the Arctic, and how are we one together? Yeah. So as I was going through that, as I was in that space, narwhals came to mind, and narwhals are my spirit animal, and there's a whole story behind that. They are connected with my dad as well, and I wrote a blog about it, and so I will pop the link to the blog in the chat if you're curious about that. But narwhals are my spirit animal, and I thought, so back in the day when I realized that narwhals were real, I wanted to see one in real life. So I did all this research on like, how do I go see the narwhals? Well, it's like $13,000 a person, probably more now, to go on a narwhal excursion. So I've not done that yet. I'd like to say it's on my bucket list, but at the same time, that's an expensive vacation to go to a cold place. But I'd see narwhals. So anyway, narwhals came to mind, and I couldn't remember. I'm like, are they in the Arctic Ocean or in the Antarctic? And I looked it up as I was in the records and working with the Arctic, and sure enough, yes, they are in the Arctic Ocean, and which is probably why they came to mind. And as soon as I saw the little image of the narwhal on the Google search, an Arctic ferry came in, and this is where the clairs really get interesting, because when you open yourself up to all the information that we are taught to shut down and not be open to, all these different energies come in, and you get to work with elementals and all these fun things. So this Arctic fairy came through, and my light language changed to Arctic fairy light language. That's the first time I've channeled Arctic fairies. And she was just loving this little narwhal in the picture and singing to it, and it was so much fun. Okay, so the narwhals came through last night, Arctic Ocean. So that's some fun things that have happened with the clairs, and I think that have opened up exponentially for me because I've been working with the records and sitting in the Akash energies and things like that. So now this morning, I'm trying to remember exactly how it came to me. This morning on my way to work, there was something else coming in. I don't remember what it was, but then my dad was there. He was like right in off to my left, in my field, and he was there, and it was open and in a different way than in the past when he's been there. And it's always been good, but it's like a good feeling, a good vibe. But this time it felt like a stronger connection, much stronger connection. And so we were vibing together, and yeah, how does this want to flow through? Because now that I've started talking, my body is like letting go of some of the trauma of my drive this morning. We'll get to that part. So my dad came through, we were vibing. It was like a strong connection. And then I remembered the narwhal from last night and how it's connected with my dad. So I'm like vibing with him, and then it dawned on me that tomorrow was the anniversary of his passing. And I try not to cry. So it was a deeper connection with him, and it's like another layer of healing that is happening with everything. And there's more to it. I just can't capture it to speak it out into 3D existence. I can't find the language. And this is how light language is helpful. It captures that and gets it out. So all that was coming through. And as this is happening, the car in front of me, who thankfully was a good distance in front of me, and it's you can see that the sun is dawning here now, but this was 20 minutes to a half hour ago. The car in front of me hit a deer on the right panel. The deer ran out towards the car, and I slowed down, came to a stop, pulled over with my flashers on. The car coming from the other direction also saw this happening, and they pulled over as well. And we watched as the deer was still alive, and it ended up moving itself to the middle of my lane of the road. So anybody coming by is gonna hit this deer, and it wasn't huge, but it wasn't small either. So as I was calling law enforcement to let them know there was a deer in the middle of the road, I was also very well aware of other cars that came by, and the deer did end up getting hit and passing. So as I'm processing all of this happening, and feeling emotion for the deer, the other gentleman who had pulled over on the other side of the road was able to move the deer out of the road. And I went on my way towards work, and an emotion came up, about the deer. And as I was experiencing that emotion and reminding myself to witness it from a place of the observer and allowing it to flow through, the deer came to me, like right in front of me, looking at me, letting me know it was okay. It was okay, and it was free, and it totally understood the emotion I was feeling, and I had like a feeling of gratitude for, caring and having the compassion and everything from my human side. But it was okay. And again, what it comes back to is the profound experience and richness and depth of life that comes to life that comes into view in your life when you practice opening fully to what our bodies are meant to do and to what our energies are meant to do, and the way that clairs process information that our physical bodies can't. So whatever the next step is for you in that, I would encourage you to take it. I could be crying in horror because of what happened this morning, but I'm instead able to process it, hear from the deer itself, comforting me when it's the one that got, hit by a vehicle. And there's, messages from my dad, and I'm really looking for, and there was other things that came through from him that I'm keeping private right now, but looking forward to working with him in a deeper, with a deeper connection in spirit. And okay, we're good. I'm good. I feel like it's flowed through, and until next time, enjoy the expansion, my friends.